I don't wish it on him, you
Right.
know what I'm saying? I don't wish it on him. And I love him through it. Whatever he going through, I love him through it. Much criticism as I receive about my son, I would like to shed light on the fact.
You won't believe what just went down with the Harris family. The hip-hop world that used to pulse with beats and flash now feels frozen in shock. What started as just another regular day turned into a nightmare nobody saw coming. Destiny had something dark in store.
My name's King, you know it, and your mama know it. On game what? On game what? Come here, come here.
King Harris, the son of rap legend T.I., is fighting for his life right now in the ICU. His skin's pale, his body covered in tubes and wires, while his parents stand on the other side of the glass, completely broken. Fans who watched him grow up showing off cars, jewelry, and that big personality can't believe this.
Children gonna be children, kids will be kids, man. You know what I'm saying? I expect that from them. I expect that from them. I expect them to do the wrong thing.
The kid full of life is now lying there motionless. But here's where things take a haunting turn. This wasn't no random fight or freak accident. Something way darker went down behind those prison walls. People inside said King was calm that night, just walking away from the noise, trying to clear his head. He told a few people he needed some space, maybe to think about his next move. Minutes later, chaos. Screams ripped through the block.
GOAT reasons you gone viral. I graduated. That's the only good thing they posted of me going viral.
The best one for me is King Latifah.
Ah!
Teeth Keith.
I ain't never get my teeth shirts made. Teeth
Hey,
shirts.
well, to tell you the teeth. Yeah.
Alarms blared, guards ran in, and then silence. King was found on the floor, not moving. Doctors rushed him straight to the hospital, but those injuries, they weren't random at all. They were deep, brutal, and deliberate.
Try to take the good with the bad and just let them know. You go into prison if you keep it up.
And here's the wildest part. The cameras that record every corner of that place, blacked out. Every second of the attack, gone. Like someone made sure no one would ever see what really happened. T.I. and Tiny showed up that same night, tears streaming, hands shaking, calling out their son's name. But there was no response, just the sound of machines beeping, barely keeping King alive. Nurses whispered under their breath, saying the truth nobody wanted to hear. His condition was critical. Outside, crowds started gathering fast. Fans, friends, even complete strangers, lighting candles and crying out for a miracle. Social media went wild within minutes. Hashtags, clips, prayers flooding every feed. But under all that love, a chill started spreading. What if this wasn't random? What if somebody wanted King gone? It didn't take long before quiet whispers turned into full-blown rumors. People inside the prison started talking, careful, low voices, saying King had crossed the wrong ones. Not just inmates, but higher-ups, the kind of people who run things from the shadows. Word was, King had stumbled onto something dangerous.
You can talk to me. Until then, ain't nothing going. Call who you need to call, do what you need to do. Ain't nothing happening. No money, no beers, no partying, no sections, nothing. You put me and mine on the motherfucking flyer, give me everything. And if you can't, don't play with me. I don't know if y'all from here, but don't play with me in this city. It's my motherfucking city. Don't play with me in this city.
Shady money deals, contraband sneaking through, and officers taking a cut of the same system meant to protect him. If that's true, then yeah, he became a serious problem. And inside prison walls, problems don't last long. But here's the real jaw-dropper. When the Harris family demanded to see the footage, the warden claimed the cameras malfunctioned. Every file gone, every angle missing. Too convenient, right? T.I. lost it, right there in front of everyone. The man known for his confidence and control looked shattered beyond repair. Cameras caught him outside the ICU, crying and saying, "I don't care about justice, I just want my boy to live." It was raw, heartbreaking, a father's soul laid bare. But that one line shook the whole internet. People started asking, why would he say that? Did T.I. already know? This wasn't just some random brawl. Did he know who was behind it? Things went from shocking to straight up unbelievable when a nurse's voice note leaked online. In it, she whispered, "This wasn't random. Someone wanted him gone." That one sentence flipped the whole story upside down. Suddenly, this wasn't about a fight anymore. It was about betrayal, silence, and pure fear, spreading like wildfire. People everywhere started connecting dots that maybe weren't even visible yet. Every new detail, every rumor, felt like a piece of a puzzle nobody wanted to see completed. The world held its breath as doctors warned the next 24 hours would decide everything.
Easier when we're living under one roof. Now we just have to schedule time to have talks like this.
What's up?
I was trying to get to the bottom of things with King, trying to see if he had
Huh?
Whoa.
Where you coming up with the word?
because King got a little friend, and he be in love like he's a lover boy.
You having
No, I'm not. I'm a virgin.
It's other things.
that between him and his poem. Let him and his poem have the best time of their life.
Now I ain't talking about no phone.
What is you talking about?
A girl is involved.
Girl is involved.
Yes.
Whoa. Now I'm being responsible because I could have been one.
You supposed to know better than being out there and engaging in adult activity. Don't let a temporary itch dig you out a permanent ditch.
That's something Tip knows all about. Maybe he should be taking his own advice.
Each slow beep of that hospital monitor felt like a countdown to either hope or heartbreak. Tiny cried until her body gave out, holding on to T.I., who just stood there, frozen, staring through the hospital glass, whispering, "Hang on, son, Daddy's here." The pain on his face said it all. He looked like a man living his worst nightmare in real time. But then, the plot twisted again. While the family prayed for a miracle, new voices from inside the prison started talking. People ready to risk it all and expose what really went down that night. And just when the world thought it couldn't get any darker, it did. Inside that hospital, the tension was thick enough to choke on. King's condition kept crashing, his heartbeat spiking, then flatlining like a storm trapped inside a machine. Doctors whispered that the swelling in his brain was getting worse. Every second felt heavier than the last. Tiny couldn't stop crying, trying to find faith in the middle of heartbreak, whispering, "Please, baby, fight." I just stood there, eyes empty, staring at the floor like a man who's seen too much pain for one lifetime. The whole hospital felt heavy, panic, prayers, and heartbreak mixing in the air like smoke. Everyone waited, desperate for a miracle, hoping King would open his eyes again. But that night, destiny flipped the script completely. By morning, those quiet whispers about a setup had exploded into chaos online. People weren't buying the prison fight story anymore. They were calling it what it looked like: a hit. Cold, planned, ruthless. Then came the twist that broke the internet. A leaked voice note from a prison staff member claiming guards were ordered to stand down just minutes before the attack. That one claim changed everything. Was someone inside the system working with people on the outside who gave the order? Nobody knew for sure, but one thing was clear: something stank bad. Fans flooded the web calling it the biggest betrayal behind bars. And as the world demanded answers, officials said nothing. That silence made it all feel even more suspicious. Meanwhile, T.I. tried to hold himself together, but the weight of it all crushed him in front of the cameras. Every tear turned into a headline, every sigh became a story. At one point, he broke down and said, "If my son doesn't make it, the world's gonna burn." Nobody knew if that was raw grief or a warning, but that one line sent the internet into full meltdown mode. Then things took an even darker twist. A few of T.I.'s old enemies started posting cryptic messages online. One rapper wrote, "When you play with fire, it reaches your family." That one post flipped social media upside down. Everyone started asking, was this payback? Fans flooded the internet like a tidal wave, digging through old beefs, past rivalries, trying to piece together who could have ordered the hit. Atlanta hit the streets hard, candles burning, chants echoing, posters screaming, "Justice for King." The city wasn't mourning anymore. It was angry. The air was electric with rage and fear. And one thing was clear: nobody was staying silent this time. They wanted names, they wanted answers, they wanted truth. This wasn't just about a young man lying in a hospital bed anymore. It had turned into a full-on war between the people and the system itself. Videos of Tiny collapsing in the hospital hallway went viral in minutes. Her screams, "They wanted to kill my baby!" echoed across every platform, leaving millions stunned, broken, and furious. While the world cried out for justice, doctors came forward with the worst news imaginable. King had suffered massive trauma to his skull, likely caused by a weapon made from a padlock stuffed inside a sock. That detail alone told the whole story. This wasn't a fight, it was an execution. The wounds were too precise, too deliberate. This wasn't chaos, it was cold calculation. And the craziest part? Guards were right there the whole time and didn't move until it was already too late. The Harris family felt betrayed to their core. They once believed that even behind bars, there were still some lines you didn't cross. But now, it felt like every rule, every bit of justice had been wiped away. Just when the family started demanding answers, another twist hit like a bombshell. Within days, Atlanta turned into something straight out of a movie. Crowds growing bigger outside the hospital, camera flashes lighting up the night, reporters camping on sidewalks, and social media erupting into an all-out war zone of theories, leaks, and wild accusations. The city wasn't sleeping, it was boiling. Some screamed corruption, others whispered karma, and a few said it was straight-up revenge, something written in the streets years ago finally coming back full circle. But here's where it gets absolutely insane. An anonymous voice recording dropped online and shook the internet to its core. The voice was shaky, scared, whispering, "We were told to make it look like a fight." But the target was King. Those words hit like a bomb going off. No one could confirm if the clip was real, but it tore open every wound the family had been trying to close. After that leak, silence was no longer an option. The world stopped trusting everything. Journalists started digging deep into T.I.'s past. The old beefs, the broken deals, the rivalries that never really died. Suddenly, familiar names started popping back up. People T.I. had crossed, money that went missing, grudges that never healed. Some swore this whole attack was a message, a cold reminder that fame doesn't make you untouchable. Others claimed it had nothing to do with T.I. at all, that King had stumbled onto something dangerous inside those prison walls. Maybe it was corruption, maybe a secret he was never supposed to uncover. Too many insiders were saying the same thing. The hit felt too clean, too quick, too perfectly timed to be random. Someone planned this. Destiny had twisted hard on the Harris family, and now they were trapped in the middle of a storm they couldn't escape. Inside that hospital, hope kept slipping through their fingers. King's condition wouldn't stay steady. One minute he looked stable, the next he was crashing again. Machines beeping, doctors rushing. It was like watching life and death play tug-of-war right in front of their eyes. The next minute, King's heart rate crashed hard. Nurses rushed in and out like ghosts, faces pale, eyes hollow from too many sleepless shifts. Ty hadn't left his son's side in days. His beard was rough, his eyes bloodshot, and he looked nothing like the confident man the world once knew. Tiny sat by the bed for hours, whispering softly, "You're strong, baby. Come back to us," while clutching his hand like she was holding on to life itself. Then came the twist nobody saw coming. Word spread that King's monitor flatlined for a few seconds that night. He stopped breathing. The room exploded with chaos. Doctors shouting, machines blaring, hands flying everywhere trying to pull him back. For a moment, everyone thought it was over. But then, beep, 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 the sound came back. King was alive, barely, but alive. Outside, the crowd went wild. People screamed, cried, hugged strangers. The whole city felt like one heartbeat pulsing with hope and fear all at once. Atlanta was holding its breath, praying together for a miracle. But while people cheered, the line between truth and rumor started to blur. Every hour, a new theory popped up, spreading faster than wildfire. Some whispered that one of the guards had been paid off. Others said a rival rapper's crew was behind it, a move meant to send a message. Some even claimed it was part of a bigger industry play, a cold warning for anyone daring to speak too loud. Nobody knew what to believe anymore, but one thing was certain. This wasn't just about a young man fighting for his life. This was about a system cracking open for the whole world to see. T.I. snapped that night. Cameras caught him storming out, shaking with fury, yelling at reporters like a man pushed past his limit. "If you don't protect my family, I'm gonna burn this system down," he shouted, and that clip detonated online in minutes, spreading like wildfire. Some fans called it a broken dad's raw grief, but others felt it sounded like a man who already knew too much and was done playing games. The internet blew up with questions nobody could answer. Why did the cameras fail? Why did the guards freeze? Why was every witness suddenly silent? Every unanswered question pushed the truth deeper into the dark, and the silence only made the story heavier. All through the long night, the Harris family sat in the waiting room, silent, shattered, and scared, while rumors swarmed like vultures. Tiny prayed low and steady while T.I. stared at the floor, hollow and drained, his reflection fading in the hospital window like a ghost. Outside, red lights flickered and thousands of candles burned in King's name, the whole city holding its breath, waiting for justice or a miracle. But under that glow, everyone could feel it. Something huge was coming, and it wasn't gonna be small. When the last night came, the hospital turned into a fortress. Guards posted at every door, fans chanting on the sidewalks, cameras never off. Still, inside it was eerily quiet, the air thick, lights dim, and every doc's face more worried than the last. This wasn't just a tragedy anymore, it felt like a breaking point, a moment that could flip everything everyone thought they knew about what really happened. The family had no tears left. Days had blurred together with no sleep, no rest, just fear and waiting that felt endless. Then came the moment no parent ever wants to face. The doctors quietly warned that if King didn't improve soon, they'd have to consider removing life support. That hit T.I. like a blade straight to the heart. He snapped, shouting, "No one decides my son's fate but God." His voice echoed through the cold hospital halls, shaking everyone around him. "You don't get to choose when my son's story ends." Outside, the city froze. The crowd had doubled overnight, a sea of faces lit by candlelight, holding posters that screamed, "Justice for King," and the system failed him. Even people who had never met the Harris family were crying, praying, hoping for some kind of miracle to cut through the silence. Atlanta wasn't just mourning, it was mourning loud. But just when it felt like things couldn't possibly get darker, boom! Another shock hit the internet. Out of nowhere, a mysterious Instagram account appeared and posted just one chilling line: "The sins of the father fall on the son." This was never about King. It was about T.I. Within minutes, the post vanished, gone like it never existed, but screenshots spread faster than wildfire. The internet exploded with theories, people connecting dots, building timelines, and digging through T.I.'s old history like detectives. Maybe this wasn't just about the boy lying in that hospital bed after all. Maybe it was about his father's past finally catching up, the ghosts of choices made long ago kicking down the door. Destiny had flipped again, and the world was watching in disbelief as it felt like the price of fame was being rewritten right there in real time for everyone to see. That night, the hospital turned into a stage for heartbreak, pain you could feel in the air. Tiny collapsed in the hallway after hearing the words no mother should ever hear. King's brain activity was fading fast. Ty dropped to his knees beside her, clutching her hand, whispering broken prayers into the cold tile floor. Even the nurses were crying, the kind of tears that come from witnessing pain no money or fame could ever fix. One of them whispered softly, "They're just parents, just like anyone else." Then came the wildest, most emotional moment of all. Out of nowhere, a flicker appeared on the monitor, a twitch, a breath, a tiny spark of life. The whole room froze in disbelief. The doctor shouted for silence. Every second felt sacred. And for a brief, shining moment, King's heartbeat grew stronger. The beeping echoed through the ICU like hope itself, fighting to come back to life. Then just as quickly, it started fading again. But that short flicker was enough to light faith back into every soul in that room. Outside, word spread like wildfire. King Harris shows signs of life. Crowds screamed, people cried, some dropped straight to their knees in prayer. It felt like the whole city finally exhaled after holding its breath for days. For a second, hope returned to Atlanta, bright, fragile, but real. But even with that miracle, the truth behind the attack stayed buried, hidden under lies, silence, and power. The prison said nothing. No reports, no footage, no names. The Harris family's lawyer called it the biggest cover-up in state history. And as the cold night wrapped around Atlanta, T.I. broke his silence with a post that shattered the internet. "They tried to break me through my blood, but we don't fall that easy." That single line became the voice of millions. Pain, pride, and defiance all rolled into one. Families and strangers all over the world had felt every second of this pain through their screens, crying, praying, and holding their breath together like it was their own child lying there. But here's the chilling part. Even after everything, the story still wasn't over. Whispers spread that the people behind it were too powerful to ever be named. Some believed the truth was buried deep inside secret files that might never see daylight, hidden by hands too high to touch. Others swore that T.I. already knew exactly who was behind it, but was waiting for the perfect moment to speak, the right time to strike. This wasn't a story about fame anymore. It had become something raw, something human. It was about survival, justice, and a father fighting tooth and nail to protect what was left of his family. As the sun rose over Atlanta, the hospital glowed in a soft orange light, but outside the scene was anything but calm. Crowds still stood strong, still praying, still chanting King's name like a city united by heartbreak and hope. Inside that ICU, the steady beeping echoed like the heartbeat of Atlanta itself, fragile, but still alive. Whether King would ever wake up or not, nobody could say, but one thing was crystal clear. This tragedy had changed everything. It ripped the mask off power, showed how justice can be twisted and how silence can bury the truth. But it also proved something bigger, that pain, when shared, can unite millions of strangers into one unstoppable, unbreakable voice. In the end, the truth stayed buried, but one thing echoed across Atlanta. Pain made them stronger, louder, united. The fight for King had just begun.